All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is another episode of the Northern Illinois Wrestling Podcast. Well, first, let me introduce you, Mario Morgan, um, former national champ, um, wrestler, Mount Carmel High School. I former competitor of mine, um, the guy that put up the most points on me, I think, in all of high school. Um,
Yeah,
in that match at Geneseo. Mario, what's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. I don't know, man. It's been good coaching,
Yeah, so
grinding.
so t- so just I mean, kind of get into catch up. You reached out to me. You were asking me if I knew any juniors and seniors that were interested in wrestling in college, and I said, hey, why not be the first college coach that I've brought onto the podcast? And the Northern Illinois Wrestling Podcast is kind of like something I started up in right when I was coaching in the area, just to try to build the area's wrestling programs and help, like, give credit to the kids that are worthy of that credit, and try to continue to build the area's programs. I've just strictly been doing podcasts with high school coaches and talking about programs and you know their lineups and stuff like that. But this is a great first opportunity to get a college coach on to kind of introduce themselves to the area, and you know build that connection if anybody wants to try to go on to the next level of college. So I see you just got a head coaching job. First, yeah, tell us about the new position that you just got.
Yeah, so newly hired at the University of Bridgeport out in Connecticut. So a little bit of ways from Illinois, but easy to get back and forth. You basically fly in and out of New York City, and it's a train ride away from there. So it's super convenient. Um, Been a long time coming to be a head coach. Been a long time assistant since 2011, and kind of was like, all right, it's time. Uh, and definitely reached out because even if I think of myself, I was that kid that didn't have the state championships in high school and all of the crazy Illinois accolades because the state's so tough. And there are so many guys. I mean, I always joke with kids is like, I didn't place in high school until our senior year, and I got fifth,
Yeah.
and still became a three-time NCAA All-American, two-time finalist, national champ. So yeah, it's great, but there are so many kids that go under the radar
Yeah,
that just needs a shot.
exactly. So how did you end up in Connecticut, though? Was there just you just found this one, or did they find you, or?
National Wrestling Coaches Association. I mean,
Okay.
one of the things where you use your network, you use your resources. I was lucky enough to be inducted into the Division II Wrestling Hall of Fame this past year.
Congrats.
And yeah, thank you. Yeah, so working with them and just through different connections there, it was a point where I was like, Mike Moria, the head of the national coach, was like, all right, I'm ready to move. He's been like, all right, tell me when you're ready to move and leave kind of your little homestead in St. Louis and Chicagoland area. And I was like, all right, it's time. It's time to bet on myself. And so then this one popped up literally. I think I called him on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, we had conversations about different opportunities that are out there across the country. And this one just kept popping up. It was one because I love Division II wrestling. Like
Yeah.
it's one of those places where it's kind of where I cut my teeth, where I coached at for a long time, and it was one of the new programs coming in Division II wrestling, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. It also helped my wife was originally born in kind of Boston area,
Okay.
so she got to get a little bit closer. But she actually grew up in the Chicagoland area, went to Palatine High School, so yeah,
I got you.
lot of ties and a lot of things that lined up just right.
Well, so kind of fill some people in on the Division 2 level. I mean, obviously, I know that you went there, and it was something that I actually probably could have considered more. I just maybe was unaware of it. But there's different financial opportunities, right? You guys get scholarships at Division 2
Yep.
level.
Yeah. So it is extremely tough, extremely challenging, great wrestling. I mean, I say the same thing about all three NCAA divisions for sure.
Yeah.
Like the national champs, the All Americans, and all of them can compete.
Yeah.
You're doing those things and those you can wrestle. At Division 2, we face Division 1 all the time. I mean, in my own college days, we wrestled Northern Iowa and things like that, and competing in the same tournament. But as a coach, I can offer scholarships. We can combine school-based aid with financial aid and athletic aid to really give students good packages to make it affordable. Um, and it's high-level wrestling. I mean, I think you see that all the time. Every year there's always a Division 2 or Division 3 guy that makes a transition to D1, and they're right there in that All-American conversation.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen it over the years, even with Illinois kids like Isaiah White, who won a Division 2 national championship and was right in contention right there with Division 1. So
Yeah. Well, I just talked about this with Eric Barnett, former Division 1 wrestler at Wisconsin, All-American. We were just talking about the potential possibilities for people to kind of climb the ladder with, the changing landscape of Division 1 college wrestling and Division 1 college sports in general. And obviously, if you find a place that you like and you don't necessarily want to go to the next level, you get to stay there. But there's a lot of opportunities that are emerging with the transferring up as opposed to getting recruited right away to go to a Division 1 school or something like that. So
yeah, and I think we're seeing that a lot in college wrestling. Guys could go D3 for a year or two, All-American, national champ, and be like, hey, what opportunities are out there for me now?
yeah,
I mean, the transfer portal is something that college coaches are looking at every single day. Like I see what name pops up every day, and it's like, okay, where were they before? What's going on? What happened? And then you start reaching out to your networks and find out a little bit about each guy. So, but the guys that are all Americans at Division 2, Division 3, they're getting looked at by Division 1 guys every day.
yeah. And I mean, I obviously, like you're kind of alluding to, I think that it goes both ways, right? So you got guys that are Division 1 wrestlers and really successful, but maybe they don't get an opportunity that they want, but maybe they're not like that breakthrough athlete that kind of gets to get recruited, in the Division 1 transfer portal. Now you have different opportunities to hey, let me look at Bridgeport and see if that's an opportunity, because I met the coach when I was getting recruited. I liked him. Maybe we'll revisit that. So yeah, I like the new opportunities. I think it's the toy. Some people have their frustrations with it and stuff, and I personally, as an athlete that had gone through the process of like wanting to transfer and not being able to, and maybe not knowing what I was I just think that it gives a little bit more freedom to the athlete to make maybe they make mistakes, but at least they get to make them. So I like
Yeah, no, I
the
mean,
idea.
there's so many kids out there right now that maybe thought a school was the right fit, and the coaching staff change happens.
Yeah.
And now you have the power to be like, all right, I'm going to bet on myself and enter a transfer portal and see what's out there. But there's so many kids that like might have said, I want to wrestle Division 1 just to say I wrestled Division 1, but I was actually really good. But I didn't like the grind that a Division 1 program puts on kids, and that's good and bad. And so sometimes they're like, actually, I love the pace of a Division 2 schedule or a Division 3 schedule, and you can get there and actually thrive and have way more success, or you just got good kids in front of you too.
Yeah. It could be
I mean,
both.
I've met kids that's been just stuck behind NCAA All Americans, and they're just as good, but they never take that risk to say, all right, I'm going to bet on myself and go chase an All-American, I'll chase a national championship. And I tell kids a lot too, like even high school kids that might not even be recruiting. Like at the end of the day, after 5-6 years, if you can go back and you have plaques on I see behind you, you got All-American plaques, that means something. Like to
Yeah.
be able to say, hey, I was a NCAA All-American really doesn't matter the division. When you put it on your resume, when you're applying for a job outside of the wrestling world, you're going to say, I'm an NCAA All-American, I'm an NCAA national champ, and that carries some weight.
Yeah. Yeah. You put forward a lot of effort and you stayed focused for, yeah, there's a lot of things that go along with that. They're not just plaques and medals. But tell me about Bridgeport. So how long is the program? Is there any history that you know of that is fun to brag about?
Not really. Like we're starting over from scratch. Yeah, so I'm getting to build it my way, which for a coach sometimes can be a lot of scary, but for me, I love it.
Yeah.
I don't have to come in and change someone else's what they did or inherit some bad behaviors. It's all my standards. It's all my stuff. So I get to take the years of being around phenomenal coaches, all the way from being in the Harvey Twisters to Mount Carmel and Nebraska Omaha and coaching in St. Louis at Maryville to now being able to mesh all those into my program, which has been awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. It is. I think it is probably a benefit. Obviously, the challenge I would imagine is just alumni networks and getting people, connected with the program, right?
It is, but I think for myself, who've like been in the college game for a long time,
Yeah.
I can utilize that network still. Like I can still call up the coaches I've been talking to over the years or coached against that might have transitioned. I know a couple coaches that was in the Division II landscape that actually transitioned to high school on the East Coast. Oh, so you're able to tap into still those. So I think the hardest part of it is selling the vision. And it's convincing families and students that, like, hey, here's my vision and my plan to put it in action. So you got to be a little detail oriented on that. And making sure you're selling an authentic picture of what you can build and what you can do. And that's something I've just like thrived and enjoyed of like, hey, I've been in this before. Like I was a part of our founding staff at Maryville, and we had a lot of success right away. We had national finalists in year one and national champion year two. And by year 4 and 5, we were number 3 team in the country. So like there is success that can happen in brand new programs, and we're seeing it every day. Hey, there's some other programs that have started within the last 2 years that have already top 10, top 15 Division II programs in the country because you got good coaches that are building it the right way.
Yeah. Good coaches, good athletes, good culture
Yeah.
makes it quick.
Yeah, and I'd be lying if I didn't say the transfer portal was a big piece of that. Like to be able to go in and grab a couple kids that are juniors and seniors that might have had a bad break or something that just needs another shot. You
Yeah.
can build fast.
Well, so how's the season been this year? How
Yeah,
many?
so right now I'm full on recruiting. I get
Okay.
to be in high school gyms every day. Hey, go around the country and seeing club
Because
practice.
it's a new. It's
Yeah,
actually a
so
new
our
program.
first season will be next year, 25,
Awesome.
26. So the students that are committing now will be right there coming all together in the fall.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's been good. It's a challenge. I mean, there's
Yeah.
moments where you're like, man, I'm still recruiting. And like sometimes like in normal year, you're like not take it off, but you're like, hey, I only got to bring in 5 or 6 kids. I'm
Yeah.
looking to bring in
You're bringing
20,
in a whole team.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is that's challenging. I imagine you're just recruiting constantly, just
Yeah.
going place to place. So are you are you typically just driving around as far as you can get out, or are you getting in on the plane and going to some of these bigger tournaments and or even just state tournaments that you have the opportunity to see people? Obviously,
Yeah,
I
a little
mean,
bit of a lot. Like as an example, I got a kid I'm really highly on that's out of Phoenix, Arizona, because my dad's teaching at
yeah,
Valet Prep in Phoenix, Arizona. I got a couple kids that I'm like super high of in the Chicagoland area through connections with there. A couple kids out of Nebraska just through college teammates that are high school coaches and club coaches there now. So we're really looking all across the country. And I think that's one of the nice things about the location we're at is you're like, hey, you can be on a train in less than an hour and be in New York City. Like careers, job things after, or even just getting back and forth for parents is like, hey, we can come watch you wrestle. And then on a Saturday, then spend Sunday in New York City and fly out of there and be back home and work for Monday. So there's some perks to it.
yeah, that's one thing. When I went to Elmhurst, Elmhurst is a suburb, and I had the opportunity, like on the weekends, I would jump on the train and go into Chicago. And
Mhm.
I'm from Midwest Illinois, so I wasn't in a city, and it was kind of cool to have that experience of going to a city and then leaving it and coming back to school and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that is nice that it's a train ride to that type of environment.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and our students can walk to the train station from our campus. There's
Yeah,
a concert venue. And one thing I always joke about is like every day I look out of my office, I'm looking at the shoreline of Connecticut. So I'm literally looking out at the Atlantic and just seeing water, and like it's just kind of a cool little environment. I remember coming on my interview here and everybody's out there fishing and the weather's beautiful, and you're like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Just I definitely want to ask you some other stuff about a little bit more about UNO and like what you
Mhm.
learned there. But like, just if somebody's aware of your college coach, if they're thinking about it, where can they go to kind of get more information on the program and get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's social media. Like we got an Instagram account. My Instagram's on there. Facebook. Search my name. You can find me. As Coach Prime would say, I ain't hard to find. And a lot of people in Illinois know me. They got my phone number. Shoot me a message on Instagram. Shoot me a message on Facebook. Give me a phone call. Somebody can get in touch with me. I'm always available, and I'm also one that's gonna answer those. Like I'll try to shoot families straight and give you the real honest truth of the college search process and like where you're at and where I'm at, and hopefully it's a good fit, and if not, hopefully I can use my resource to help you find somewhere else that's the perfect fit for you.
Yeah.
Because we're not the perfect fit for everyone, but for a lot of kids we could be.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, what it means to be a perfect fit. I think sometimes going places is an uncertainty, right? It is different from what you're used to, and sometimes that can be good. And as long as you have good people to kind of mentor you through the change, I guess it's not that.
Yeah, and I think I'm uniquely qualified in that like
Yeah,
I
you went
did
to.
college admissions for a while to be like to really help students find fit. And I say that of like as an example, say Dalton, you're in Chicagoland area, but you're not sure what size school you want to go to because there's totally different experience. Like University of Illinois, let's say McKendree down in Southern Illinois, and Elmhurst, and maybe somewhere else up Northwestern. They're all going to give a uniquely different size, feel, and you can actually almost like tour our school by visiting another school that's similar. Like, is this school in the suburbs? Is this school in the city? What size is it? Do I want the big state school experience or do I want the small private school? What's going to be the best for me? And what am I looking for? And I think sometimes you can figure that out even without touring a school.
Yeah, yeah, and personalities for sure, probably.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's cool. So how did you what was it like? Because you like you said, you were at UNO,
Mhm.
Nebraska Omaha. You guys had like, the program of of all of Division II going, and then they cut the program, and then you went to Maryville. What was it like to kind of go and start that like from scratch there?
You
Obviously, it's
know,
going to help you with this situation for sure.
yeah, it's been a ton of help in this situation from starting from scratch, but it's one of the things where like you almost didn't realize how good we had it at UNO. Um, and for people that don't know, at Nebraska Omaha, we won 8 national championships in 6 years. 2 3-peats, 2 third places, another 3-peat, and after that second 3-peat was my senior year, and they chose to drop the program that night of the national tournament. So long story there, but you go from being on arguably one of the best programs in college wrestling history, all divisions, like just longevity of consistency, and definitely in Division II, to like starting from the bottom. And I got to learn to appreciate the grind to get to the top, like the grind to get back and what it takes and how much work and how many resources and how much team building does it really take and alumni building. Um, and it is, and it's eye opening, I would say. Like, because you come into a program that's already really good, you just think everywhere is like that. And then
Yeah.
when you start over, you're like, oh, everywhere's not like that.
Yeah, I did that when, I coached for a year. Well, I coached at Montini with Izzy for a year, and then I took another job at a different school back home, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." Just yeah, again, different cultures, different expectations. I mean, that's why it was so surprising that they even dropped the wrestling program, because the the athletic department had to be in a situation where things were moving in the right direction. And I think I don't know the details, and people could look it up. But I think it was just an athletic director and
Yeah,
administrative.
athletic director that did gel with wrestling, and they were trying to make a transition to Division One,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and they dropped wrestling and football. There's a lot of speculation of what happened. I think internally we're like wrestling probably was a scapegoat to not have two Division One footballs in the state of Nebraska, where Nebraska Husker football is king.
yeah.
So wrestling
Which
got
it
to be
is. I went
it,
there.
it is.
It is king.
It's king in the state. I mean, they have no professional sports. It's the
They love it.
biggest thing in the sport. Or than having two Division One football programs in the state will not weaken the brand, but you don't get as many of those walk-ons. You can say, hey, I can still go play D1 football somewhere else. So I think that played a part. But I think a lot of it was that athletic director. And I will give the new administration that's in there now a little bit of credit. They are trying to mend fences.
Yeah.
They've brought my national championship team back a little over a year ago and honored us at like a hockey game and like put Coach Denny in the Hall of Fame and put some other national champs in the Hall of Fame. So they are trying to mend fences and trying to build relationships back, which has been good. And I mean, there's even been rumors. I mean, who knows how true they are? Them trying to hopefully start the program back up. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it's fun to feel that like welcome back. Because for someone like me, and if you've ever been in a program that's been dropped, and you spend a lot of time building that brand, and it has a lot of identity to you, and you can't take your family back and see that. I think that's the pieces that
Yeah.
a lot of people don't see the humanness of it. I actually was talking to a lot of guys that used to wrestle at Morgan State 8, and when they were in, they were like, them bringing back Morgan State wrestling allowed them to have a place to take their families and friends and be like, hey, I was a part of that. And that means so much. Like for me, it's like, where do my kids go and see dad's name on the wall?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's high school, college, wherever. It's just like, it means something.
Yeah. I would imagine that would be something. And it definitely made it a little awkward when it first happened. Well, cool, man. I appreciate you coming on. I definitely will reach out to you again and again throughout the season as I find more people interested in the next level.
Yeah.
Have you on and just continue to tell me how things are going. I was glad that you reached out and that I knew that you took that new gig, and I was curious how it was going and how you actually like got there in the first place. But yeah, good luck with the rest of the recruiting process and getting people out. And I'll make sure and like put your email and put University of Bridgeport on the post that I put this out with. And yeah, hopefully you can find there's some tough kids out here right now. We just did like a rankings episode.
Yeah, I've been looking at them a little bit.
Yeah, and we're starting to get like a better view of like, okay, who is, well, one, who's close by, obviously that because from where I'm at, right, I'm not, we're not in the suburbs where we're getting recognition necessarily with every tournament that we wrestle. Although a lot of good teams are still traveling out. Hononiga's program is really good right now, so they're traveling to the best tournaments, Ironman and so on. Dvorak's coming to McChesney Park, which is 5 minutes down the street from me, so that's good to have in the area. So yeah, there's plenty of kids in the area.
What's the date of Dvorak this year?
It's this Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So I don't know what that date is, but it is 21st and 22nd.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, so there's some good kids out here, and any opportunity to continue wrestling at the next level would be great. So I appreciate
100%.
you coming on.
I think it's a great place to. There's so many kids that can grow and benefit, and it's not all about winning national championships, but just being at that next level and being exposed, and kids getting degrees, kids bettering their lives. That's just as important as like any starting spot All-American, but that kid putting themselves in a better life situation is also part of all this.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're out there. I'm glad that you're coaching at college. I'm glad that you got your opportunity. Make the most of it. Good luck with recruiting, and we'll catch up soon.
You too, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Coach Milder, welcome to
Hey,
the podcast.
hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm a lone ranger tonight. The other guys couldn't make it. Um, I just finished up a little interview with Mario Morgan. How long have you been coaching? Are you familiar with who Mario Morgan is?
Name sounds familiar. I've been, this is my 31st year actually
Okay.
as a head coach. So, yeah, I've
So
been around a
Mario and
while.
I wrestled in 2002 to 2006. He
Okay.
was at Mount Carmel, but he just took a job at University of Bridgeport in Connecticut.
Oh,
Um, he's a head coach there. They're starting up a program for the first time, and he asked me yesterday if I knew of any juniors and seniors that were looking to wrestle in college and wanted to check out Connecticut. So I said, "All right, you can come on, and anybody who sees it, they can make that decision."
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but Kevin Milder, head wrestling coach at Stockton, Lena, the co-op. Yeah, nice to meet you. I know we ran into each other at Rochelle the one year, um, but
Yeah.
yeah, how's the season going so far?
We're off to a pretty good start. We're, what are we, 10-4, I think, dual wise. But the kids are starting to wrestle pretty well. We had a quad over at Glenbard North. Saw some pretty stiff competition. We wrestled Lincoln Way West and Glenbard North and Plainfield South. So we lost two of those. And then our other two losses are to Rochelle and Dixon. So kids are working hard, getting better. With our late start with the Lee Win kids with football, we're kind of starting to finally settle in now. So
Yeah, and do you help out and coach it with the football?
yeah, I'm the defensive coordinator for football. So it's always a little challenging. We come back from the state game. We've been blessed to be in the state game a few years here in a row now. And I come back and I get one practice under my belt, and then we're, competing. It's, this in December, we're pretty heavy too. So we're Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So tonight was actually the first time I've had a back-to-back practice with the kids. So
Yeah,
kind of refreshing.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, you don't get many back-to-back dates, I guess, during the season. You're just always moving around.
Right.
We did get to see you. We did a broadcast for the Oregon duel.
Yeah.
And I was pumped because, the lightweights for Oregon are pretty tough. So they got started. But once you got to about 144, 150, you really saw how tough your lineup is. And yeah, I was really impressed. Obviously, you have guys lighter than that are just as skilled. It just, from the dual
Right.
standpoint, you got some hammers up top.
Yeah.
Maybe
Us in Oregon, we is a weird matchup because they're really strong at the lower weights, and we're a little bit inexperienced down at the lower weights. And my heavier weights are more experienced, and there's vice versa. So it was an interesting matchup. We got down, I think, 35-0 right away, and we clawed back and ended up winning 41-35. So it was an exciting duel, great atmosphere. Oregon's a great place to wrestle, and it was a fun night.
yeah. Maybe you want to go through, talk about your lineup a little bit, if you want. I mean, I think it's good to talk to the people about who's on the lineup.
Yeah, well, Saturday we're going to be at the Erie tournament, and this will be the
Yeah.
first time that we get everybody down to weight. We got two guys that are going to certify Saturday at Erie. So we got at 106. We'll be having Carson Hill. He's been at 113 for us for most of the year right now, but he's going to drop to 106. And then he's a freshman. He's a first year kid. He's picking it up pretty quick. He got his first win the other night, so that was neat for him to see. Anthony Lano, he's our 113 pounder again. He's been wrestling 120, but he's already certified, but he's gonna drop down because these other guys are dropping. David Prater is going to be at 120. He's a junior. He's got some experience. He's had a pretty solid season. I think he was a sectional alternate last year for us. So he's doing pretty well. He's been wrestling 126. He's going to drop to 120. So that'll give us a full lineup. 126, we're going to slide in the Burris kid at 126, and he's a sophomore. He doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's been getting better. 132 is a freshman, Sam Sikora. And then we start getting more experience with our lineup, guys that I've had in the past. We're really junior heavy. Mauricio Glass is at 138. He's been a 3-year starter for me now. 144 is Harrison Bauer. 150 is Reese Demeter, but I weigh them guys both in at 144, so I can mix and match those two for the team benefit. 157 is Mark Detweiler. 165 is Jack Menzendijk, and then 175 is Eli Larson. He's our returning state runner-up at the same weight, so we're excited about him. Oliver McPeak's at 190. He had an injury that ended his year last year, but he's a tough kid. He's a Fargo qualifier at 190, and then Jeremiah Luke at 215. Again, he's a state qualifier for me last year, and he went to Fargo. And then at heavyweight, is our only senior in the lineup right now, and that's Luke Kemple. So pretty good lineup. It's always nice to have a full lineup just when you go into duels and things like that. It's pretty big advantage to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, you guys have had success in the past dual team wise, and in order to get there, you have to have a tournament team, which will be helpful if you have 14 guys. So would you remind me some of the team success that you guys have had in recent years?
Yeah. 2012, we finally broke through and had some success. We were able to win our regional, and we had a barn burner of a sectional duel against Harvard. I think we won by 2, and we ended up getting second that year. Lost to Leroy. And then 2017, had a real nice team. Got to state tournament, and we won it that year. We beat Wilmington in the finals. 2018, we had a real nice team coming back, but we ran into Aurora Christian in the sectional, and they knocked us off. But then in 19, we were able to get back to state tournament. We actually beat Aurora Christian for the state title in 19. And then we won the IWCOA COVID state championship in 21. IWCOA put that on, and we were real proud of winning that. We had a good solid group of guys that stuck with us and did that summer season or late spring season, whatever you want to call it. But they were pretty committed and did a nice job. And then 2023, 2 years ago, we got third at dual team. So yeah, we've been pretty successful. Last year Byron eked out the regional by 1 point. Credit to them, but we've been right up there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that regional this year. I think it will be interesting to see how it goes. I think this weekend will be a good tell as to your guys' team as far as a tournament team.
Yeah.
This Erie tournament's pretty tough. What are you looking forward to? I know Buddy, myself, and a few others, we looked at some of the brackets, potential brackets. There's a few, state matches that are going to come up. How has the team been kind of preparing for that?
We just been in the room working hard. We've been competing every other night, so we're finally had a couple of days here that we can kind of focus on the Erie tournament here. But Erie's always a great tournament. It's a long day, but a lot of great wrestling. To me, it's kind of a preseason preview of what our sectional might look like. You're getting Rock Ridge, Newman, Morrison, Polo, Erie. I'm leaving some teams out, but it's, it's a good look at some of these matchups early. It's nice to see where everybody's at and might be at for the end of the year. But it's a great tournament. We've been pretty successful there the last couple of years team wise. So, hopefully we can make another run at that, but it's just good to get kids on the mat and, getting some good quality matchups. And, I'm looking forward to see where we stack up with the kids in the area right now.
Yeah. And it's a 2-day tournament, correct?
No, it's just a 1-day tournament.
Oh, okay. It's
They
only
do it
one
all
day.
on Saturday.
All right. Well, talking about a 2-day tournament, obviously after that you got Christmas, which then you have a fast turnaround to
Yeah.
send the kids down to Abe's Rumble. How do you manage the Christmas turnaround? How do you guys do that?
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about it is we'll get through Erie, and then we'll come back Monday on the 23rd. We'll practice, and then I'll give them Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, and then we'll come back on the 26th and we'll get a practice, and then we leave for Abe's on the 27th. So we'll wrestle Abe's 27th, 28th, and then after Abe's, I'll give them a couple of days off so we can get a little break and kind of refresh ourselves. But I don't think we wrestle again until January 7th. So it's nice to have a little mini break after Abe's, but we just kind of keep churning it out. I got a group that works. I got a bunch of my guys that are, doing some time away from the practice room as well. They're working, with Stockton Renegades, got a little place there, and they're working there. A lot of my kids go to Elbers and are working out in the off season and preseason and stuff. So I got a committed group that are putting in the work for sure.
Yeah, you can trust them because that they're trying to win.
Right.
Which
right.
Again, I think there's a couple kids that I'm really impressed with that I'm looking forward to seeing how they get through the end of the season. With Abe's, Abe's is a good opportunity, I think, to get a 2-day weigh-in.
Right.
Obviously, a ton of matches, and against I went to it last year. I was not aware of the Abe's. How long has the Abe's Rumble been going on?
It's probably been. It used to be called the St. Thomas More Challenge.
Okay.
Is how it kind of started, and then it got to be too big for the St. Thomas More people to kind of run it. So Auburn and Porta kind of got together and they combined their resources and they came up with this idea to run at Abe's and in Springfield at the center. I want to say 14, 15, maybe somewhere in there it started.
That's impressive. I just think, I think how crazy it is to get that many people to come together,
Right.
to make it, put it on their schedule and be like, no, we're going to go there because, I genuinely think that is the best representation of a dual state tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
they do a great job of running it. It's pretty smooth for 60 teams down there. They really do a nice job down there.
Yeah, there's no complaints, right? You're getting in your pool, you wrestle, you do what you can, and then you move on. And it has a really cool bracket system. I love it. But I'm excited to see that and see how you guys end up. I know that you guys have a real solid team, and what it sounds like you got guys getting into their positions in the lineup, and now you'll be able to go down there and play the dual game, figure out what guys can go in what position to make your team strong. And then again, that's another place where, a lot of these state guys are going to get opportunities to wrestle, who beat them last year or who's ahead of them right now in the ranking or whatever. It's going to be a great weekend for, all single A teams. I love it. So
it's just, it's everybody around the state. It's, last couple of years, we've actually been matched up with Anna Jonesboro, which we kind of myself and the other coach kind of joked that we're pretty far north. We're 10 miles from Wisconsin, and I think they're right on the Kentucky border. So it's like, I think it's neat that our kids can compete against each other being so far away, and you see teams from the South, Central. It's just a good preview to what you might see at state tournament for sure.
It is. It's very cool. I love it. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on. Is there any last thoughts? Any thoughts that you had about the season?
Appreciate you having me on. Good luck with what you got going here. Looks like a good venture here. I'm just looking forward to getting through Abe's and kind of resetting a little bit, and then kind of focusing on January and seeing if we can get some kids through the individual, part of the process with state and everything. And, I'm excited for, like I said, we're junior heavy. We got some experience come back, three returning state qualifiers. So, I'm excited about the end of the year.
Yeah. Lena has a lot of upside right now, a lot to look forward to throughout the season. I'm a big fan. I've met Buddy a little bit more and more over the last couple of years, and I've known Eli Larson. He used to drive out to Belvedere when I was coaching at Belvedere and get some practices in.
Yep.
And yeah, I've become a fan of the Panther Hawks.
We're good. We'll take you. We'll definitely take you.
So good luck the rest of the season. If after that Abe's Rumble and past the first of the year, if you want to come back on and just hang out and chat wrestling, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just shoot me an email sometime after there, and we'll set something up.
Perfect. Well, thanks again. We'll see you.
All right. Thank you.